fear may require us to fight, flight, freeze, or hide. And that requires discernment, knowledge, and wisdom. There are actions or arguments and people that may require us to escape from. For example, narcissistic personalities. We need to know how to escape. There is also arguments that goes in vain, or it's a waste of energy and time because the other person is not open at all. And there are actions that are harmful for us that we should avoid their temptation, not to approach them at all. And then there are other times when we need to pause, when we are in relationship, we need to pause to reflect and have guidance and wisdom to act so we don't rush into the action. There is times when we need to pause and listen to the other person. And then there are other times when we may need to hide, like when there is danger. Like, for example, the Quran gives permission or forgiveness to one who may deny his faith under torture. He may hide his face remains in his heart, but to save himself, he might actually say something contrary to his faith. So when we feel endangered, as the Sufis say, sometimes don't throw gold in front of a swine because the swine will not appreciate it. So there are certain things that also may make people feel jealous or envious. So there is a saying in Arabic, conceal your flame or your candle in order to keep it flamed. There is another saying, استعينوا على قضاء حوائجكم بالكتمان, like seek help or the aid of concealment so that your needs can be fulfilled. Like hide your needs and the way you pursue it in order to keep the flame going and have aid from Allah. Then there are times when you need to confront and fight, go to a rally or protest, take actions, call the police, leave the house or demand separation or divorce, for example, and so forth. So every condition or situation require one of these options: to fight, flight, or freeze, or hide. And it requires knowledge and wisdom. There are also degrees of fear, and those degrees require different actions. For example, there is horror and terror, which may require, again, fight or flight, or sometimes hide too. There is panic or the fear of unknown, and include xenophobia, and that require healing of root causes that cause it to occur. There is also general worries and anxiety about the future or about public speaking or things like that which again require some measure to relax and calm and get hold of yourself and understand there is no great danger as our mind is telling us and magnifying the situation beyond reasonable assessment or beyond what is real. And then there is the healthy fear, the intuition that makes you feel you could be in danger, or that this action or going with friends to a bar might uh, make me get involved in drinking, or things like it can cause harm and you choose to avoid. That's kind of healthy fear. If I am so enraged and I try to go for a walk, so I avoid my rage or I get control of my rage before I address the anger, then that's a healthy fear because you don't want to transgress the limits set for Allah, or you don't want to commit a sin. So this is like a healthy fear. And then there is a caution, a degree of caution, and to prepare for something or take precautions to safeguard or protect yourself from something. And then there is al-khishya and the taqwa. Taqwa means to have guarding consciousness of Allah, or to guard yourself against evil, or to have a vigilant and guarding conscience. And this is a higher degree and a refined degree of fear. And then there is al-khishya. Al-khishya means to be unassuming before Allah and to have reverence of Allah. So all of these are degrees of fear that require certain actions from us. And fear in itself is an unpleasant and often strong emotion that we're not supposed to stay with the fear. We're supposed to take it as a gateway again for something, for some knowledge and some of the qualities that we need to embody or channel. And it can also be caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. And in relationship to Allah, it's a profound or mixed feeling of dread and reverence of Allah. And in its highest form is being in awe of Allah's majesty qualities. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, Surah 16, Ayah 50, they fear their masterful nurturer beyond them. And fear is mentioned in many other ayats in the Quran with its different degrees. So there is a ordinary level of fear that people with ordinary level of consciousness go through, which again, fear of that people will judge me, or fear I will displease someone, fear of the future, fear of for external things. And then there is the khishya again, or the reverence of the Gnostics. And then there is the awe of the lovers. And then there is the glorification of those who are brought near. And these categories are explained by Ibn al-Qayyim. So he says that the one who experiences fear try to escape or withhold himself from something, and that is a person with ordinary level of awareness. But the one who possesses the reverence of Allah, he seek refuge in knowledge of Allah, to have insight from Allah. And he says the example of the one with ordinary level of consciousness is like someone who doesn't have knowledge of medicine, while the Gnostic who seek refuge from his fear in knowledge from Allah is like a skillful physician. So the one with ordinary level of awareness seek refuge in escaping from something or in energetically being involved with something, while the skillful physician or the Gnostic, he seek refuge in knowing or getting knowledge of the disease and the cure from Allah. And the one who is a lover, he has awe of Allah because he's witnessing the divine qualities. And the one who is brought near is the one who manifests the majestic qualities of Allah, or become their servants, and becomes the servant and the devotee or the embodiment of the divine qualities. And Ibn al-Qayyim says, if the heart is full of fear, it will be ruined. Like, it is not a station we want to stay with. But it is necessary station because it can burn the lower desires from the heart. And Zunnun al-Masri, the great Sufi, he said, don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant and think that your actions are the one who will protect you from fear. Because Iblis, for example, was known to be a good worshipper, but look what he did. And don't seek refuge from fear in external possessions. Look what Adam had. He had the whole garden, but he still did a mistake. And don't get arrogant or seek refuge from your fear in knowledge alone, because we know that Prophet Musa thought he had more knowledge than anyone else. Then Allah taught him a lesson by sending him to a humble devotee, that is Prophet Al-Khidr. So from all of this, we learn that we should seek refuge in Allah Himself, which requires a level of love for the divine essence and the love for the divine qualities. And that should be the focus. And that is why Allah says those lovers who enter the grace of Allah or the level of the garden, they will have no fear that overwhelms them, neither will they experience sadness. Of course, we all going to experience fear and sadness, but then we can take it as a gateway to know Allah. So the thing that discerns the Gnostic from the seeker is that the Gnostics, even though he still experiences all of this, he's able to recover from it to the higher level of awareness that the emotion is pointing him to, quicker than the ordinary person or the seeker. And that is why the station of love is higher and more refined than the station of fear. And as the wise said, fear and love cannot go together. Once you reach the love, then the fear goes away. So there is the fear of the ordinary person who has an ordinary level of consciousness is a fear of punishment, while the seeker of Allah experience constriction and expansion, qabd and bast, while the Gnostic experience beauty and majesty. So these are the subtle levels where fear is transformed from fear of punishment to awareness of constriction and expansion, to awareness and embodiment of beauty and majesty, to become after Allah's image. And there are wise quotes from Ibn Ata'Allah. He said, "Be fearful lest the existence of his generosity toward you and the persistence of your bad behavior toward him not lead you step by step to ruin." And he also said, "Veiling is of two kinds, veiling of disobedience and veiling in it. Common people seek God's veiling in disobedience out of the fear of falling in rank among mankind." So they are self centered. They are busy or worried in which rank or which station I am. But the selected ones, they seek the veiling of disobedience out of fear of falling from the sight of Allah, the true King. So they worry about witnessing Allah. When you want Him to open for you the door of hope, behold what is from Him to you. And if you want Him to open you the door of fear, to open to you the door of fear, behold what is from you to Him. So that is another wise saying of Ibn Ata'Allah. And he also said, lusts are not driven from the heart except by terrifying fear or restless longing. He also said, if knowledge is accompanied by God fearing, it is for your favor, else it is to your detriment. Here is other quotes from Rumi. He said, forget safety, live where you fear to live, destroy your reputation, be notorious. Which again, he's asking us to have bravery and to be authentic with Allah and to follow the guidance that Allah puts clearly in our hearts. He also says, move, but don't move the way fear makes you move. And the greatest fear sometimes is the fear of death. So Rumi says about it, I died as a mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as an animal and I became a man. Why should I fear? When was I less by dying? And finally, the Gnostic says, whenever you're afraid of someone, you escape from him. But when you have the fear of Allah or reverence and awe of Allah, you escape to him.